I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. You know all the things to do. Today I've got a package from Japan. And to save money on shipping, I bundled 17 other things into this package, but there is one thing in particular that I'm looking for that I'm going to show you today. It is the final first-party game made by Nintendo for the Game Boy Advance, and it's known as Rhythm Tengoku. You may also know the series as Rhythm Heaven, which is what it later became on the DS and the Wii, where it got Rhythm Heaven Fever. And there's going to be a new entry in the franchise for Switch 2 in 2026, but this is where it all started. And this is something that I've honestly been wanting for quite a while, but I wasn't willing to settle for bootleg versions of it or loose cartridge. I wanted a complete inbox copy. And I'm going to be honest here, I saw one on my friend Tristan's shelf when I was over there filming some stuff with him, and it kind of got me thinking about it again. I'd been putting it off for the longest time, and then I went looking, and it turned out one of my favorite sellers, Japan For You, had a complete inbox copy and at a very reasonable price. So at that point, I gotta admit, it just kind of took over my mind. Like, I have to pull the trigger on this now. Even with the cost of shipping and handling, it would be less than I would pay for it if I saw it in a game store somewhere. So it was an easy choice at that point. And if you know the Rhythm Heaven games, you know this is a very addictive kind of fun that is just inescapable once you get into the groove. Because that's literally what you're doing. You are getting into the groove and performing actions to the beat. And the closer you are to being on the beat, the better your score is. And sometimes you can unlock even more actions to do if you're performing really well. So it rewards you for good performance. I thought the most appropriate way to test this would be, since it's a Japanese exclusive, I also wanted to use a Japanese exclusive GameCube. So I got the Orange Spice GameCube with the orange Game Boy Player attached, and I'm using the official Game Boy Player software, which may contribute to my poor performance in some of the stages, but I will mostly credit that to me myself not having any practice before I filmed this today. So I recommend using the Swiss software for homebrew and the unofficial GBA Game Boy Advance instead of the official Game Boy Player disc, because that's known for lower latency and you will probably do better than I did. But again, I will credit my own bad performance to not having practiced before I filmed. But I slowly started to get better as I was filming, and actually felt like I got pretty good at this punching segment. The baseball one, not nearly so much, but you'll see later on in the video that I actually started doing okay at punching these pots in midair or whatever they are. This is one of those games where you don't really need to worry about it being a Japanese exclusive or the manual or any of the supplementary menus being in Japanese, because it's all pretty self-explanatory. You're just performing actions to the beat. You don't have to know any Japanese to be able to play this game, which makes me surprised they never tried to port it to North America in the first place. But I guess being the last first-party Nintendo game for Game Boy Advance, they were probably so long in the tooth with the GBA, they were like, yeah, you know what? We're not going to bother repackaging this and making it for a Western audience, because they would have to design a different box with different art, and they would probably want to localize some of these things into English. So they probably just said, nah, not worth it. Too late in the Game Boy Advance life. We'll sell enough copies in Japan to justify it, but we would never sell enough in the West. I get it. I understand the decision, but I'm glad when it came to the sequels like Rhythm Heaven Gold and Rhythm Heaven Fever that they had a change of heart and said, yeah, we're going to release this in every region. And it's been that way ever since then. So they have recognized the popularity of these games. And, you know, I would say a lot of different things have followed in this template. Like, what's the Funkin' one? There's, I've seen people stream it, and now I'm drawing a blank on it. It's the one where you can upload your own songs. It's like Friday Night Funkin', I believe is the name. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you watch people play Friday Night Funkin', it is basically rhythm heaven with custom songs, but it's the exact same idea. You match your movements to the beat of the song, and the better you do, the higher you score. It's absolutely wonderful. It's all, let me just say, stems back to Parappa the Rapper as far as I'm concerned. It's that same concept of you push the button to the beat, and the better you do, the better you score. But Parappa was a little more complex because you used all of the different PlayStation buttons on the controller, whereas this, you just basically hit A to the beat. I'm not saying they dumbed it down. I actually think they made it a little harder in some ways because it is very finicky about you pressing A at the exact right time. If you're a little early or a little late, it's not going to give you that full satisfaction where you hear the background voice say, "Oh yeah." You know you've done it right, exactly on beat and on time when you hear that, "Oh yeah." And it's a little dopamine rush to reward you, like, yeah, I did do good. I'm getting complimented for it. I'm kicking butt at this game right now. And here's an example. I'll let you just hear it. It's just so satisfying when you get into that groove, and it's also so frustrating when you're doing so well and then you lose it. So it's kind of a risk reward situation. You can also test your inputs with this sub menu where it just plays a beep and you hit the A button to the sound of the beep, and then it gives you a printout like an electrocardiogram that shows how evenly your button presses were. And of course, if they're in a straight line, then you're doing really well. And if they're all over the place, then maybe your timing is bad or you've got a lot of input lag. But it's kind of fun that they actually let you measure it in real time like this. If you already enjoy any of the other games I've already mentioned, I highly recommend you give Rhythm Tengoku a try. This is Mr. MegaManFan, and as always, thank you for watching.